both in black.
Okay. Hi, my name is Elizabeth MacLeod, and I'm the author and illustrator of the Wild Woman Mytsery Cards.
And I'm Sarah Sahota, and I'm a life artist.
And we're here today. We were just talking before we were coming on here about magic and being more than what we are, and how did we know that that was something that was occurring for us, or did we? And so we thought it would be a really awesome thing to start to do today, is to sort of see what that means. That where we realize we were more than this flesh and body of who we are that you see here. For me, I termed it in when did I start to believe in magic? And I guess in some ways it's because of all the work that I do here, and you were terming it in a different kind of way.
Yeah, it was like, when did I start to, or when did I notice that there was something bigger than myself?
Bigger than yourself. And that's just the same sort of thing with a different thing. And I think the reason for me why I call it magic, I think, is I have a memory of, in fact, too bad I didn't bring the picture. Maybe I'll have you run and get it. It's just, there's a picture on my desk. It's turned over probably. Anyways, it's a picture of me with Santa Claus. It's my very first memory. And what it is that was the first time I actually believed in magic. It's probably underneath that pile there, Sarah. But if it's not there, then
there
just
we
come
are.
back. And we just sort of move things over to make this here. But what it was interesting for me is, here's this picture, and I have it on my desk to remind me of the day, the moment. I'm really lucky to have a picture of the very first memory I've ever had, but it was also when I first believed in magic. And what it is that we were part of a curling club. My family, my mother and father were members of this curling club, and as children we would go at Christmas, and Santa Claus would be there, and we would go and talk to Santa Claus, and he would bring us our gifts. And it was kind of an interesting thing, because I went up and I told him I really wanted this Barbie set, right? And I had told Santa this before, and here I was again, and I went up and I talked to him, and he had a gift for me. And I had told him I wanted this Barbie clothes with this pink, covering that was in those little boxes, and they were perfectly kid thing, right? And I got the parcel. I'm 3 years old, and I'm walking back to sit down, and I start to open it, and the other children are going up and they're getting their gifts, and they're coming back, and I opened this parcel, and I opened it and I saw the pink, and then I opened it and I saw the Barbie clothes, and I sat there and I was like, oh, I couldn't believe that Santa knew that I wanted this. I was absolutely overwhelmed and overcome to the point where it's my very first memory of my whole life.
Wow.
And when, as a therapist and as somebody who has done all that training, these things are really important. It sort of shapes the destiny of your world, of what look what I'm doing now. It's the Wild Woman Mytsery Cards, all chakra coded and color coded, malas and earrings, and magic work and creating circles for women. Like, there's all this. Why? Well, the very first memory I had was believing in magic, because I was just 3. So my family and everyone around me were so taken by the fact that I was looking like, I was just like, I was shocked and excited and overwhelmed and elated. I couldn't believe, Santa knew that I wanted this, and he brought this to me, like somehow it was magical for me. And that's the picture of the day that it happened. I just happened to have it. I'm one of those lucky people. So I keep it on my desk to remind me how we perceive things, and how people perceive things around us is really what shapes us in our world.
Oh, isn't it?
And it was a really, it's just a beautiful thing. So when did I start believing? I was 3, because I could believe in magic, whereas children were allowed to. And so for you, it was different.
Yeah, totally different. Because I had a very different upbringing. Things were not very magical where I grew up. And for me, knowing that there was something deeper than myself came as an evolution. If you watched our last episode, we had the evolution card.
Right.
And it came as an evolution, but there's this one moment, and I was taking care of my mom. She had cancer, and she had been very sick and in and out of hospice, and there's this one night where we had called the ambulance and it had taken her to the hospital again, and I said, I'll be there in a few minutes, in an hour or so, I'm going to take a shower. And I went downstairs into my tiny shower. I mean, I could barely turn around, and I'm in the shower, and I am exhausted. I'm a new mom, and I lean my head up against the shower wall, and I say, all I'm asking for is the strength to make it through this. Like, dear God, give me the strength. Mm-hmm. And clear as day, from a place I had no idea existed, I heard, I already gave it to you. Mm-hmm. And use it or don't.
Right.
And it was so clear that I jumped out of the shower to write it down, as if I could ever forget that happened. Right. But that was the moment. And since then, it's been the moment that reminds me that I have everything I need.
Mm-hmm. And it's a defining moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and from there, I just, something new was created. Mm-hmm. My mom died the next morning.
Wow.
And in that 24-hour period, it was magic. It was magic in the midst of what could occur, like life circumstances collapsing on me, my mom dying, finding care for my son while I looked after her. That whole world. And I discovered magic mm-hmm. and something greater than myself. Mm-hmm. And continued to bring that to who I am today.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. For me, it was like this tiny little girl, sort of seeing and being in her own little world and seeing that somebody heard what I really, really wanted, when really it was my mother, right?
Yeah, of course it was.
But nobody told me. So I got to believe something else. I got to have the experience of something else. But I never really felt like I fit. Because, I was saying to Sarah earlier, it was like, and I want to share it with you too. It's sort of like I wasn't a big reader, but I wanted to read because everybody read. My father wanted me to read. I loved comic books, as you can see from my artwork. Even Superman really influenced me. It was an influence to my art. But I read him. But they would buy me Julius Caesar, and in a comic book. It wasn't interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I was in grade 4, and I read this book called The Secret Language, and I devoured it. I couldn't get enough of it. And it was sort of interesting because I wanted another book, and they bought me this book called Magic Elizabeth. They were so excited that I was reading. And it was about some dumb doll, and I didn't, I read about 4 pages, and I thought, oh God, I can't read. I'm not very good at it. I didn't think I was very good at reading because I didn't have that. Like, we didn't have Harry Potter then. We didn't have that. I was like, I needed that. I needed more of that kind of thing. And it sort of shaped things, but I kept looking because I kept having these little experiences here and there in the world that was very maybe ordinary in some ways, and we had our own struggles as family, but there was this other thread that kept popping in and going, oh, look, here's this book that's really cool. Where can I find more?
Yeah.
We only have a couple of minutes left, but I was thinking that maybe we could just sort of pull a card and just see what shows up about magic.
I'll cut the deck.
Okay.
Watch, we'll pull magic.
No, but Grace.
I'm wearing
the Grace series.
Oh, I was.
Oh, you're wearing the magic
earrings,
right? I'm wearing Instinct, which is the turtle.
Oh, I love it, Grace.
Grace is like it's manifest in you. So it's when you're talking about your story, it's like you have all you need.
Yes.
It's manifest in you. When I talk about my story, it's like you are magical.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is know that you are magical, or that magic exists, or that whatever, there's something greater than you. Yeah. When we pull the cards, that's grace. It's like grace falls down on you. It's like grace is like if you have a headache and you're sitting in the living room and the sun comes through the living room and it shines on your back and just slowly makes its way through. And after it passes over your back, you realize your headache's gone. That's grace.
That's grace.
In a way, even though there were profound moments of, oh, man, I got exactly what I want. How can this be? And you're like, please go. You already have it.
Yeah.
It's grace.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what a beautiful card for us to get in this particular reading, and it's very connected to, in my system here, grace is one of the freedoms, and it's the one that's connected to source, opening to all that you are meant to be, and it's one of the main Wild One freedoms, and it's the 12th one. So really, really, really cool that we got that. In fact, as we close, why don't we even put on the oil?
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, let's smell it first.
Oh, yeah.
You like it? Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And it's about opening to all you're meant to be. This one is really, really, and it does that. I feel that's a really good place to end. So what, I guess my question and our question to you is, when was that first place where you realized that there was something more for you out there in the world, that you were something more, that when was magic? When did it come into your world?
And how do you bring grace to that?
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for being here.
And we'll see you again.